Yeah. Hi everyone, welcome to Levels. Yeah, it's
Meditating.
Festivus. It is time for Festivus, the most wonderful time of the year. I'm Jeremy Long, joined as always by Ramblin'. There you go, switch places. Ramblin' Ralph Ellis and Cassandra Cusino, the Sportsnista. And you know what? We are going to air some freaking grievances. We got a couple of specific things we're going to talk about, but toward the end of it, it's going to devolve into chaos like it usually does. But we're so thankful to make it through another year with relatively healthy and happy things happening all around us. We certainly hope that you are too. My camera. There we go. So, we're happy and healthy. Ralph is laying down in bed because unfortunately he had a little trouble with his knee. Ralph, do you want to share the story about what happened to your knee and how hilarious it is?
Yeah. So I was in pretty much tip top shape 3 years ago. 4 years ago, was getting there, getting to my ideal Sylvester Stallone Rocky Four body type, and I had an accident and I had to put a rod in my knee. So I've been rocking this 4-inch rod in my right knee. And of course, you can't do all the things you want to do, like play basketball, do all these things. So I've been kind of chilling. So the other day, Kenny Bayless and Russell Mora said, "Hey, come on out here and just do this pickleball. It's like a little badminton thing. You don't got to run. It's just dinking the ball around." Well, of course, males become males, and I start getting the hang of it, and then I start wanting to play a little bit. Next thing you know, I'm full on trying to do this shit, and it took me like 9 seconds into a real game. I turned around, and my other knee just popped as loud as can be. And if for those that have had ACL injuries, MCL injuries, meniscus injuries, you already know what the hell that is. And I felt the pain. I knew it. I couldn't even put no pressure on it. And I was in Vegas. Like I'm in out by your neck of the woods. I was in Rhodes Ranch, but like where the mountains, like you can't even go no more. Like right towards Fort Apache and the roads stop. That's where this center was at. So I'm rolling on the ground and he looking at me like, like he getting ready to do a standing eight, but on the floor. And he's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Man, something popped." Meanwhile, I'm hopping my ass back to my car. I can't put no pressure on it, and I had to drive back to Phoenix that moment because I was hurting so bad. And I've been limping around ever since, man. I can't do too much. Thank God we didn't have a show that I had to work these last couple of weeks because I would have been in big time trouble. So yeah,
Ouch.
I'm laying. That's why I'm laying down right now because I'm icing it and putting all kinds of compress and all kinds of stuff on it. So I'm not doing too well. But I
Man, so you saying that Kenny Bayless and Russell Moore, who are probably like 150
there's
years old combined, like whooped your asses at pickleball?
yeah. I mean, it's crazy because Kenny, like Kenny, for those that don't know, he used to be an All American track star. So like regardless of how old he is, like he's got those long ass, I call them spider legs, and he just gets to a point like in 1 second. I, on the other hand, have the Barney Rubble legs. Therefore, it takes me 38 seconds to get to the same spot, and it just wouldn't happen. And plus, I'm a little, I got a little bit of love handles on me than I usually do, and that's what we got to work on. So we got a long rehab ahead of us, and I have dedicated myself this year to really. I'm gonna go the V. I know CC, you've been preaching this vegan stuff on me, and I'm really gonna take it. I'm gonna take it Monday through Friday. I'm gonna eat clean and try to lay off the meat, but then the weekends I'm gonna see what's going on, and I'm gonna try to do what I can. Chris Flores, referee and judge, did that. Robert Hoyle, who was really heavy at one point, he went on what you guys are doing, and he lost a tremendous amount of weight, and now he's refereeing now. So he credits all that diet to that, and we're gonna try to see what we can do. But I know Jeremy's shaking his head because he's a Texas Roadhouse, Longhorn Steakhouse, Outback kind of person, and so am I. Like I love that shit. I love that shit. Trust me, I'll have a steak every day of the week if I could, but I really got to do something because it's getting to a point right now where if I'm gonna be doing anything and I'm over here making turns and popping knees every time we ain't doing that. We ain't
Yeah,
doing that.
now popping knees, gotta get back to popping bottles.
Popping and
That's
locking.
right.
Popping
Right.
and locking, man. That's you know what, CC will wear you down with that. She will wear you down. She'll convince you that she got some good eats on the other side, and look at her. She about to do it again. What now?
Everything in moderation,
I
including
just don't want a tofu cheeseburger. That ain't popping though. We got to figure that out.
I'll listen. I will make you a shiitake mushroom black bean farro burger that'll change your mind. I'll mess
Probably
with you.
it'll probably change the way my toilet appreciates me though. That's the one thing I'm really scared
Hey,
about.
I clean your colon sometimes too.
I'll be at a fight like, ladies and gentlemen, time out. I'll be back in 25. Mm-mm.
But like, oh boy,
Sometimes it be like that.
a
We're
couple of
boys.
years ago that as they started the fight, the heavyweight guy that just got out. He just said,
Yeah, he's fighting FA.
FA.
Oh yeah. That was crazy.
So
crazy.
Festivus show of the year. You're welcome to join in anytime. Sports grievances, but you know what? Screw it. If you got any kind of grievance at all, you can let us know about it. We'll air your grievance for you. We're gonna start with one of our segments here, and I know CC, you wanted to start out with BS decision of the year. Now, this could be boxing or UFC related, or if you're any type of sports fan, so maybe the Raiders or the Cardinals or Cowboys, any of those sports franchises. Go ahead, air your grievance. But CC, you brought this up to us, so I'm going to let you start here. BS sports decision of the year. What is your take?
You know what, and this could go in several categories, but I'm gonna just kick it off with this one. Oscar Valdez pees hot, and he is allowed to go ahead and fight for the strap in Arizona. I got problems with that. You cannot listen. At least strip the man. Strip the man. You can't fight for a championship and pee hot. I don't care what the excuse was. There was no repercussions for it whatsoever, and they let him go ahead. And listen, he was going to win the fight anyway, but at least he got to work for it. Now look at somebody like David Benavidez, who's sitting on the sidelines because of some transgressions of his own doing. They ain't no worse than what Oscar Valdez tried to pull off in Arizona. That is my BS boxing decision for 2021. I don't like that.
And can I just hop into that as well?
Sure.
Out here, it's kind of funky because I am in Arizona. We have our regular Arizona Boxing Commission, right, who basically adheres to kind of it's the ABC, which is like most of the boxing commissions. They all try to like stick together and kind of back each other up. Although Arizona was already known for not backing up Nevada when Chavez didn't want to take the test and they brought the fight here. That's another story. That's a one-off. But then we have out here Indian reservations where the top rank put that fight on, and they don't give a shit about adhering to shit. They do whatever the hell they want. They're making their own rules. They're trying to get bare knuckle out there. So like they basically said, we don't care. Like we don't want to lose this fight. We don't want to lose the income. They sold out. There was 5,000 people there in a place that probably hold about.
He just got to be stripped.
I know, but I'm just trying to let you know that is why that fight went on. That's why he didn't, that's why, because it was like, okay, we're going to let this go. So then turn it off. So then WBC president and all those guys figured, well, if these guys are letting it go, then I'm going to let it go. Then Bob Arum got behind it and said, look, these guys are allowing him to fight. WBC is allowing him to fight. What's the problem? So that's where the whole circle became. And I like the kid, and I don't know what happened there, but at the end of the day, it's got to be fair all the way around. And it was what it was.
Yep. I had to get some lotion real quick. I don't like being nowhere ashy. I don't care if it's.
Oh, am I ashy? Am I ashy? Is that right?
I was just feeling my elbows. And I was like, oh, I'm up here ashy.
I think I'm ashy too.
That decision to let that man fight for a championship to retain his strap, that was real ashy. And I got a problem with it.
All right, Rambling Ralph, what do you think? What is your BS decision of the year?
I have a real sense of pride when a fighter brings his son into the industry, whether the father wants him to be in the industry or not. Um, Ricky Hatton's son fights for DAZN. Okay. And out of all the shit that went on this year, if you have not seen this fight, it just happened a few months ago. This kid got mollywopped, got his ass kicked, and they gave him, and it wasn't even a close decision. It was like a whole bullshit score. And I have never heard boos so much in my life in an arena. And those were his people. I mean, it was a shit show. And I have never seen a worse decision score wise, all collectively. We have seen some one offs where we've had some judges that had pretty bad scores, even a couple fights ago. But that was the bullshit of the year. I mean, it was complete bullshit. And just because it was Ricky Hatton's son, he got the benefit of the doubt. Even Eddie Hearn was like, "Fuck, I don't even know what to say about that shit." But glad he's on. Glad he got the W, because that would have messed up our paydays. It was complete bullshit, and I have a problem with that because that was absolutely a disgrace. His son got his ass kicked. Period.
He got mollywopped. I remember. You know what? Want to throw one in there real quick? The Fox and is it Mastre decision?
Yes, that one too. Mm-hmm.
Fox, man, please.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one was bad too.
Yeah, I mean, didn't they actually, the sanctioning body actually like went back in and decided they were going to take a look at it? It was so bad. I think
Correct.
Martinez was like 117, 110 on that card. People were like,
Yeah.
"You eating good tonight?"
Yeah.
Getting that steak dinner.
Yeah.
Eating that vegan mushroom burger. That's what we eat on Shiitake.
Shiitake mushrooms with farro and black beans. Boy, I might have that tomorrow.
All right. So two very good ones. You know what? I'm going to go back a little bit earlier into the year, and I am going to say it wasn't an actual judge's decision. It was the decision by Triller to bid $6 million on a Teofimo Lopez George Kambosos fight, which nothing against the fighters. Go out there, make your money. But the hilarity that ensued over the next 4 to 5 months after that decision, I would say the indecision by Triller to pick a date, to keep a date, to honor a date, and then to not look at a calendar in the first place to see what you're up against before picking a date, and then having to backtrack in hilarious fashion, trying to save face to make this fight, and ultimately in a fight that, it was a very good fight and good for George Kambosos, but they defaulted on that purse bid, and then of course the real players in the game stepped up. But I guess Triller might actually have the last laugh, because they are going public with a $5 billion initial public offering. Here, they're being valued at $5 billion initial.
Wow,
public.
that's
so.
They haven't made any money.
Hey, that Trump rally, $5 billion.
Well, listen, like the money got to be coming from somewhere. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it is coming from somewhere. There's articles on that. I just read an article on Ryan Kavanaugh the other day. Like, I don't know how true it is, but man, there's a lot of stuff going on right there.
It's a lot.
I ain't want to gossip. So you ain't heard nothing from me.
That's what I'm saying. Google it.
Imagine trying to date a somebody, and she pushes the date back 7 times. Then when you show up to the date, she sends her sister. This is exactly what happened in this whole situation. We were waiting. Bullshit, purse bid. And then Teofimo doesn't show up, unfortunately. That was man, that was pretty crazy. And look, he's a family guest. Oh, look at Michael looking like Halle Berry. Okay.
I'm Halle Berry too, child.
It's crazy because like I said, he's a guest of the show, and we love him here. But man, bro, that whole situation just gave you a big L. He has lost so much money and future money. And that Bud Light sponsorship shit, that shit's down to heart. It's going to be Bud Light Seltzer now. He ain't even going to be at the main roster. He'll be rocking that honeydew, Bud Light honeydew seltzer. That's what's coming out next. That sucks, man.
Just a bad situation all the way around,
That's
man.
a great one, Jeremy, because they look like the new kids on the block who are going to do something different, inject some new energy into boxing. They had concerts during and wrap offs, and they still do during the boxing cards. All right, a little different, and then wow, like they just show their dirty draws in public like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
And here's the thing, Jeremy, is that this is I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is going from people in the industry talking shit about this company to 2 weeks later, now you're broadcasting for the company. And I don't care. I'll call it out. I'll call a spade the way it is. You have people talking shit about this company, and then money talks, and all of a sudden you're a big fan of the company. And the thing of it is with me is that people who are supporting one cause, when the green comes out, all that shit goes out the window because there's people there that were against it, that were against the movement, they were against Trump, blah, blah, blah. But now it's all good in the hood because the money's going all over the place. And that, for me, that's why I think Jim Lampley didn't end up with Triller. I really believe that because he was signed, locked, and ready to go. And then all this crazy shit started happening over there. And he's probably like, I don't want any part of it. You had broadcasters from fighting with each other like in real life after shows, and that got out everywhere. And it's just like, man, dude, what is going on? Wild.
Yeah, I sent MP the link. I don't know what
If he wants to chime in, MP will have to update his Boost mobile phone and join us from wherever he is right now. Celebrity Brothers better take Jake serious. You know what? We Cece, we know how you feel about the
I agree with Mike.
Paul brothers.
Yeah, but I agree with Mike on that.
But they have, and I think we had a spirited discussion about this. Almost every time we talk about Logan and Jake Paul. But if nothing else, they came in and found something where they could maximize their exposure and get paid a lot of money in a very short amount of time, fighting notable names, not other boxers, not other athletes in that sense, make a ton of money and then get the hell out of the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And that, are they good for boxing? No, they're not good for boxing. But if anything, they've shown the blueprint of what boxers should do. Now, boxers have to have the talent to back that up. You have a Ryan Garcia who has millions of followers and is a good-looking young man and has that marketable approach and everything. But he's got to be able to back it up. He's got to be able to win titles. And in MMA and boxing, especially more so in boxing, you're only as good as your last win. That's just what it is. So, it's an unforgiving sport. You don't play it. Most people who box don't have very long careers. They especially don't have long times at the top where they could capitalize on money they make. So, instead of putting off your social media, young boxers, and waiting and saying, okay, I won't, I'm not going to do any social media until I become champ, and then trying to fit, all of that into that championship window, which for a lot of people is a very short amount of time. You got to build that up so that when you do get those meaningful straps, you already have the base. You sign with the Nikes and you sign with Doritos and you sign with the Bud Light and leave the hard seltzer behind. But don't try to do it, if you get a strap and you only got the strap for 6 months and then you lose the strap and you never get the strap again and then say, damn, I missed my window. You got to be working on that window and be ready for when that time comes. So
at least and be who you are and not a caricature. Listen, Andreas Hale says that everything is pro wrestling, but it ain't. Everything ain't pro wrestling. And a lot of these kids are coming up thinking they got to be a character, and that's how they build it. But you look at somebody like Ebony Bridges or Clarissa, they are exactly who they are. They're just smart business women, and they figured it out. You look at someone like Shakira Stevenson, who is gifted. Shakira got a lot of gifts. I didn't like that whole turn heel moment. You all right, Ralph?
Yeah,
All right.
my knees popping.
Oh, I thought
No, I
it
agree. How
might
many
have been
times have
some
we talked about
artichoke.
this on the air? How many times have we talked about this on the air? Especially with like people like that are starting out, right? Like my boy Carlos Castro, fought on the Manny Pacquiao pay per view, getting ready to fight Luis Netti on the next pay per view here. They put him right back, and you know what he's doing? Not using his social media, and he's not using it enough for me. He's using it, but not enough. And this is what these guys don't understand. I'm not hating on these dudes because I have been around the game for a long time, just like you guys have. You tell me any MMA fighter or boxing fighter that's fighting those type of guys at 3-0, 4-0, and 5-0. You can't. You know why? Because they're fighting somebody down from Tijuana, Mexico, or Rocky Point, Mexico, with a 2-34 record who hasn't fought for 2 years. And it's the truth because I see it with my own eyes, and I have friends that have fought guys like that up until like 9-0, 10-0, 11-0. So you can't get mad. Boxers cannot get mad at these guys for going out there and hustling 100 million followers. They can't. Don't get mad. Just like in my industry, I don't get mad at somebody else announcing. Do I get upset that I feel like I'm better than? Yes, but that's different. I don't sit there and get mad at somebody for doing something and it being popular. Like you, if I'm not doing my shit, how can I be mad at somebody else because they're doing something that I'm doing that I'm not doing? Like, for example, you look at all these boxers' social media stuff, they don't post a lot. They don't post hardly at all. So how are you gonna be mad at somebody for posting every 3 seconds when you just sitting back clowning on these posts? Why don't you post 3 times a day or 10 times a day or 20 times a day? If you do that, you gain more followers, and then the Bud Light seltzers come, and then the Vandy Camp fish sticks come. Then you might go up to the big top once you hit the Carlos already should have a 500,000 to 1 million followers, and he doesn't, and he's working on it,
Did he say
right?
six?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It's a big market out there, big market for the vegan, for the people that are on the diets. I'm just
Man.
saying, man. I'm just saying, dude. Like you guys, they can't get mad. Look at Mike Tyson. He put his name on a marijuana line and blew the hell up again because of that. Then they went to a podcast. Now he's as big as ever. He might even be bigger now than what he was
He's making
when
more
he
money
was fighting.
now.
Money wise,
Yeah.
he's that Tyson Ranch weed making him almost $750 million. Like that's crazy, right? So these guys got to step their game up. They got to do better, period. And they can't be hating. If they're hating, then they ain't doing enough, period.
Well,
Next.
I can understand, like, you look at some legitimate boxers who are just doing the right thing. They're in the gyms, they're grinding, they are being good people. And then they see like a clown show, a whole clown car pull up, and a bunch of fools come hopping out. I can understand when you think somebody just hasn't put in the time to actually be at the top of the mountain. These kids, like, they jumped over it. You got one of them fighting Floyd Mayweather.
Let me tell you this though. Let me tell you this. I get it. I get it. But let me tell you this. This is how crazy this shit is right now. Okay. Showtime, who doesn't spend their money on bullshit, locked this boy up for a 3-year minimum deal.
Well, because
Okay.
they're making money off of him. It's
I
not
get
like
it.
it's not rocket
I get it, but here's the thing. In order for Showtime to put this money into this kid, and they have to be reciprocal as far as putting stuff back. They're not sitting back chilling. They went out and got Bob Ware, who to me is the best cut man in the world, and he showed it the other night because Jake's cut was ridiculous. They got world-class trainers in there. I'm not talking about like the BJ and J. Leon loves. Like, there's also other people in the camp that people are not seeing. Like, the dude is taking this shit really serious. Like, it's not a joke to him anymore. Like, it's not.
They're doing the work, but they didn't get in the experience work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got the right trainer. He's actually getting in there. He's training and whatever. But I absolutely align with real boxers, because he's not a boxer, he's a fighter who is training.
Right.
Real boxers who are like, God damn, I've been busting my ass. And Showtime just like, showed like their whole banana. It was like, here, like, have this. And it's Showtime boxing, that's a real legitimate outfit. You can't get them to spend that kind of money on any other fighter, which is, to me, that's the ultimate bullshit. you're not going to actually develop a real boxer, but you're going to throw money at this clown show. And these kids are in it for a short time. They're going to take as much money as they can, which is what I would do. A short amount of time as you can. But I get it. I understand how like actual boxers feel that this is nonsense. It is not just about social media presence. They figured out the marketing part of it. And also, let's not forget that his business partner, Nikisa Badarian, I forget, he was the CFO for UFC, was instrumental in selling the promotion to WME William Morris. He was also the CEO of not Fertitta Financial, but Fertitta Capital as well. So this dude is in the background, right? He understands, he knows what's going on over at UFC, and he's Cyrano de Bergerac in Jake Paul's ear. This kid is puppeting this stuff to like call out these UFC fighters. Why? Because he's getting the information, from the inside. So it's a real marketing move that they're making. And I don't like these guys. I respect the hustle, but I just think that they bullshit.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question real quick, Jeremy. Go ahead, Jeremy. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Do you don't think that Canelo and these other bigger guys are starting to realize that they should be taking advantage of it? Like before social media really hit, before IG really hit, was anybody really taking? I mean, in any sport, if you weren't a Tony Gwynn or a Michael Jordan, were you really popping off on social media? Like if I say, okay, if A-Rod, when he got drafted, would have had IG, A-Rod would be a billionaire 5 times over. Okay. If Tiger Woods came out and his Instagram and social media was on point like it is now when he first started playing golf, he'd be a billionaire 10 times more than what he is now because he's already a billionaire. That fool's got money, right? It's just the way it is social media is changing business, period. Okay. There's more streaming phone tablet purchases now than actual at-home purchases. And the industry is changing. And dude, I'll tell you right now, Steven Espinosa is like us. The dude listens to Wu-Tang. He's got culture. He you know what I mean? Like he likes to sip, I'm just telling you that the industry is changing and they went out and just jumped ahead of everybody else by signing these boys. Because I tell you what, look at Amanda Serrano, who you love so much. She finally made $1 million. Why? Did she make it with Lou? Did she make it with Lou? Did she make it with Lou?
Make it against Katie because Eddie had already said that fight was booked before she got with old boy, and that's good for her. And Montana Love, who also got the contract, but I don't think that's good overall as a whole. They're not good for boxing. And what kind of bullshit is that? Are we saying that like you got to come with a social media presence to actually like get good matches and get paid in the ring?
Do you know how many people right now are asking how many followers they have before they get signed now? Do you know that?
But that's
it's a prerequisite.
It's an indictment on the sport. And guess who ain't doing it? Like we can talk shit about it all day. Dana White ain't doing that. That's not happening in the UFC.
I gotta disagree.
Boxing's bullshit. Dana is making the best fight. And you know what though? Here's the big differentiator. That promotion, they are by far outproducing their fighters on social media. Their content is better than all their damn fighters. They actually don't need their fighters to like be out there promoting the fights. They do, but like they're not relying on it like top.
Yeah. Yeah, but it must be nice when you have no competition. That's the difference, is that there is no competition there. That's why everybody right now in boxing is deathly afraid of their stars to get their ass kicked, because then their whole company goes in shambles. Period. And that's
Bellator is a competitor.
See, come on, CC. Bellator, they can't even sell 5,000 tickets to their shows. Don't do that.
It's a competitor, but still, it's an indictment on boxing. Like, and that's like my biggest gripe is that boxing can't figure out the fucking marketing, so they have to actually pivot to like these gimmicks to sell a fight. That is deplorable. Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter did what, 150,000 pay-per-view. Some of that was nonsense because they couldn't figure out how to do the pay-per-view outside of the app, but 150,000.
All right, he got tired of sitting on the sidelines, and I'm going to invite a guest in here. But before, let me kind of back this argument up here. Number one, going back to Ralph saying the boxers shouldn't be mad about the game plan and all this stuff. Number one, the boxers should be mad. They should be mad at themselves. They should be mad at the things, because look, boxers are boxers. And we were talking the other day saying, look, coaches are coaches. Your coach should not be managing and running your social media. And I get it that most boxers, when they're just starting out, don't have a whole lot of money. But you tell me how many kids in the United States, not the poor kids from Mexico, okay, but in the United States, if you're a boxer, how many of them aren't running around with this? How many of them aren't running around with an iPhone or Google Pixel or something like that? Almost every kid in America has one, or they have access to it. So you tell me these kids, they should know that blueprint coming up. Get on there, talk it up, whatever. Look, don't let the old heads get in your ear. You should only concentrate on boxing, blah, blah, blah. They're doing that because they're coaches. That's what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
The kids know now. Okay. The older boxers that are kind of in it, you kind of miss that generational thing. That's your own fault, man. But you know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow is another chance. Get out there.
Tomorrow's Christmas Eve.
Sign you up on Christmas Eve. Get you an Instagram. Get you a Twitch, get you a TikTok, start doing some stupid dances, and then build you up a following, and then let people know that you're a boxer. Then let them go.
Start a company running content for our boxers, dude.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and people can make a killing.
You even had guys like Shannon Rich calling out. Shannon Rich called him out. Shannon Rich, that dude's like 83 years old. Now he's calling out for the pause. That's where it's going to, boys and girls.
Shannon Briggs.
Shannon Briggs.
Shannon Rich, the 60-year-old MMA fighter.
MP, where are you at? Number one, it is loud as hell.
I'm in a hallway right now. I'm in a hallway at one of our local establishments, the bar. And first of all, great, Ralph. I don't know what's going on, bro. If you're getting a massage, I've had questions about that. I did not get any responses, so I'm not trying to get people in trouble. CC, girl, you're looking good. You're on point. And Jeremy, come on, you just J-Long, brother. You are looking good. And just want to say thanks for having me on. So, and Ralph, you still haven't answered my question, so I'm going to leave it alone, but you're looking good.
I didn't even see the question. I tore my ACL playing with Kenny Bayless and Russell Mora. Now I'm on the sidelines. I'm laying down because my knee's messed up.
Yeah, but no, you guys have some great points about that. No, these guys should be mad about what's going on with the boxing, but they can't be mad because you hit it right on point as far as what everybody should be doing, because that's one thing Jeremy was always harping, about our shows, is that everybody wants to be social guys, but nobody willing to put in the work, and these young cats, they ain't got nothing but time. They will put it on there. They will talk about it. They will be bigger than anything before you even, it's those these two twins that are walking around with their heads twisted and all the face tattoos. Don't know who they are, but they have millions of followers. And they could probably go in the ring and make millions.
The Island Boys. The Island Boys.
There we go. See, I knew somebody knew. But it's all about setting it up beforehand. And is it wrong? No, it's not wrong because it's business. I was watching a clip today with Money Mayweather and Kevin Hart, and he was just talking about the way he established the Money Mayweather thing. That he when he was a young kid, he wanted to buy his mom a house. And so he's like, all right, I got to take these different steps. And then he made that transition. And we talk about it all the time, where he went from being pretty boy to Money Mayweather. And when he did that, that's when his shit leaped up. Because as we all know, everybody want to hate, everybody loves a winner, but guess what they love even more? They love hating on somebody waiting for them to lose. And he figured that out early.
Yeah. That more people will tune in to see you lose to cheer you on.
And
And
that's
hope
what
you
people were
win.
doing. People were tuning in, and I think they're doing that with the Paul brothers, right? Tuning in to see if they're going to lose. Great strategy. Clarissa Shield is another one. People tuning in to see if she's going to lose, especially in MMA.
Right.
Yeah. And then they started, and then Jake started knocking people out. And I wasn't trying to make it a racial tone, but just being a brother, being in situations. I know, all these guys were thinking they were just going to step to Jake and knock him out. And you just said it, CC. He started taking this thing serious. It's like you don't play boxing, and it don't look like he playing boxing. He's knocking folks out.
Right. Yeah.
He got 2 knockouts out of the 3 fights that he's had. That is true, but boxing. Yeah, all weight class. I want to see that.
A weight class. Weight class, not in free show fights, man.
Yeah.
The Triller in Manila. Is that what we're gonna have?
The Manila Triller Thriller. There you go.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of Triller, what's in your glass, man?
What's up?
Jeremy, what's in your glass?
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
My illustrious, luxurious French whiskey.
Yeah, he don't do things like poor people. He has made that statement of numerous. If he got paid for that statement, he would not be a poor people. So,
but see, MP hit it right on the dot, and it goes back to just being a straight, legitimate business. It is a business move for Showtime, where if DAZN did it first, they were the ones going to make the money. So whoever was able to get them first, they're the ones that got them. And I guarantee you they made a lot of money this last weekend because that place was jam-packed. Everybody was tuned in. And, yeah, it's a world of a stream. You can go on and stream this stuff right now on IPTV. It's easy. But we'll see what the numbers look like. And more importantly, these guys are making big-time moves. I mean, you brought out – you had Paul Pierce. You had basketball players. You had football players in there. You brought all assets of sports into this event, and it's changing the game. And that it's not going to stop. It is what it is, unfortunately. So we're going to have to either get used to it.
No, because you can't – like these guys are lightning in a bottle, right? Mm-hmm. So when they're done, like is there another one out there? Is another Jake Paul out there? I don't know.
They're always going to be now because they realize now, look, that's what I said. You know how many people called him out after his fight? Everybody called him out. It was all over the damn social media.
Athletes, but I'm saying,
not everybody wants a piece of them. Yeah, they better watch out.
Is there another personality out there, who has the marketing cachet to do this once he exits the sport? And I don't know. Could be. But I think that it's cyclical. I think this is a moment in time. I don't think that it is an actual game changer kind of thing.
It's unfortunately, CC, it's always been around and it'll always be around. Right.
It's common.
It's just now it's on a bigger scale because of the reach of these young men. It's not really freak show fights anymore. What he did in the beginning was, but you get into a ring, and I don't care what their boxing skills are. You get into a ring with 2 former MMA champions, and you knock them both out. Whether that was Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren, or whoever else he gets into, now taking the step toward. There's a lot of smoke around, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. being his next opponent.
Out too, by the way.
Who Junior just fought Anderson Silva and lost a split decision, so I mean these things are all because more people are interested in just, is it pure boxing? No, it's not Duran versus Hearns. It's not any of that stuff like that. It is somebody with a huge following taking on another huge. They usually just call it celebrity boxing, right? And but this time it's not Screech from Saved by the Bell with his 5,000 followers fighting Danny Bonaducci. No one gives a shit about that, and that's where that belongs. That belongs in some little fight hall somewhere in front of 300 drunk fans. We're talking about 2 brothers who each have 20 million subscribers on their collective channels with over 1 billion views each. When you look at companies, like, hold on, Mike, I'm gonna mute you because you're loud. So I'm muting you real quick.
They're also athletes, though. They're not just social media stars. That's why I'm saying.
Well, they're athletes. Yeah, they're athletes.
You can't.
But kind of going back to your point of the businesses and why Showtime and HBO and all these other companies are willing to invest money into them and not actual boxers. Well, the real boxers don't bring jack shit. And Showtime has to make money. HBO has to make money. Triller has to make money. Eddie Hearn isn't doing it for the love, man. He wants to make money. That's what it comes down to. Al Heyman. If Al Heyman would have pulled the trigger on this guy, he'd be rolling around in it. Okay. And wherever Al Heyman is, because no one knows even if Al Heyman's even alive anymore or if he's somewhere else. He's a vampire. He just disappears.
Unicorn. He's
a unicorn and a vampire. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But so, I feel like we've kind of rabbit trailed on this, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, are they good for boxing? Hell no. Are they going to make a lot of money? Sure. Should boxers, real boxers who take this seriously and concerned about legacy, Canelo's already set. He ain't got to worry about it. The other boxers coming up, the Ryan Garcias, what Teofimo Lopez was doing before he kind of became a head case on this last fight. He was out there doing the TikTok dances and all the other shit and flossing and then jumping. We saw him dance over our boy Diego Magaleno when he knocked him the fuck out. And he learned that off of that was the TikTok stuff. That was the Twitch dances and all this other shit. Should they be paying attention to it if they want to make money? Yeah, because look, man, that's just the name of the game now. That's just how it is. So
social media is bringing all facets into everything, and it's intertwining, and people need to either get on the bandwagon or get off. Unfortunately for us, we work in the industry where we have to adjust and act accordingly. But you can still wear your red dress and still make articles about it and voice your dislike. I'll still love you, CC. It's okay.
We still love you, CC. We still love you.
I know you're gonna do it.
Ralph, get out of my closet, man. Get out of my closet, Ralph. Get out of my closet.
Well, the next segment we want to talk about real quick is just the come on, man, moments of the year, either boxing or MMA. You guys pick. MP, we're gonna get your thoughts on this. No, you know what? I'm gonna let MP think because he's at a social place right now. I'm gonna let you think on your comment on. Come on, man. There you go. Moment. CC, I'm going to start with you. What was kind of that outrageous, like, come on, man, moment from all this bullshit this year?
Tito Ortiz. And I'm not even talking about anything that he did inside of a ring.
Is this going to be the political thing?
But he's sitting on a city council, like, losing his whole goddamn mind. Like, he actually didn't get elected, and he did. He had no idea how to actually behave there, and then decides he wants to go fight again. Come on, man. Like, get it completely together, or like just hang out in HB and have tacos, which is what I would do.
Me too.
Ralph, what do you think, man?
I got two. They're kind of. I'm gonna do an A1 and a 1A and a 1B. 1A, again, going back to the Triller show, Evander Holyfield fight. Now, look, man, come on, man, like, dude. First of all, the punch that he got hit with, I don't even know if that was actually a punch or. I don't know, because I went back and tried to watch it like 20 times, and I still can't fathom whether it's Father Time or Time to Make Some Money, because that whole card was a fucking joke, from the fight to the Trump rally to them letting them do whatever the hell they wanted. I thought it was really bad look for the sport. And I don't know, Thorsten, the guy that used to run the PBC and run all the events, set up everything, he went over there. Now he's the CEO. And now he swore that they were going to be strictly fights and none of that other bullshit. But the first show they had was that show, and he was in charge of that show. And then he said, "Oh, I'm going to bring Obama too." That ain't happening. Obama will never get into that bullshit. That ain't happening. So that show as a whole, with people that knocked that shit and were fucking on the show, to the fighters who were rolling around, and I don't even know what to call that. Look, I wanted to work for that. I made it known that I wanted to work for that company. I did, and I'm not going to be one to shy off of it. But it's turning into like, I don't even know what that is over there. And it's crazy because like, I really want everybody as a whole to be strong because there's more opportunities for all of us to ride on it, to be there, to do the interviews, to announce it, to do open workouts, whatever the case may be. Any new company is exciting for us in the industry because it gives us another avenue to show what we can do. But at that, to sell your soul, to deal with shit like that is crazy because people are on there and they don't even act like their normal self. It's like fugazi shit. And that's just my come on moment of the year. That whole show in the entirety of it from A to Z was like, dude, what the fuck am I watching? And you know what the sad part is? I watched the whole thing. I watched all of it. I'm like, what am I watching? But I watched all of it. And I think that's what they're trying to do is they're trying to make sure they do some outrageous shit and have everybody watch. I watched the whole thing.
They even sanctioned Evander Holyfield for a fight. That's the wild part for me. Is like anybody who's talked to Evander like recently, he should not be getting hit in the head again ever.
No. We lost him for a second. We'll bring break real quick. All right, MP. Give us your come on, man moment of the sports year. Yeah, you gotta leave the bar once again.
Well, you know what? There really wasn't a big sports come on, man, to me this year, other than the same thing that's been going on. And I thought that 2020, 2021 would make it a little bit better. Is I just need to see more bigger fights. That's where my gripe is, man. Not Sugar Shane Mosley, God. Sean Porter, love Sean Porter to death. But this last fight, I knew he wasn't going. Actually, he did better than I thought he was going to do. But I need to see all these big name, middleweight, lightweight, whatever. I need to see him go head to head sooner than later. I don't need to see Tommy Hearn, Sugar Ray 6. You know, I want to see these guys in their prime doing what they do. So, and I know it's a money game, but now it's money. You know, it's not like it's money now. So, you know, what's the gripe? You don't have to wait to get that big ticket. You can get this big ticket now. So that is my biggest gripe with fighting. And, you know, and as we said, Al Heyman, they all know the tricks. They all know the trades. You know, Ralph, I know you know what they're doing out there. They sit, you know, bring in 29 different fighters from down south to, you know, to fight guys and get their records right. And then all of a sudden they 26-2 or 26-0. And, you know, it's like, no, let's get some good fights going. And you know what I love about the UFC? Because I'm going on a tangent now, that the UFC doesn't use the losses against you depending on who you fought and how you fought. Whereas in boxing, if you lose and, you know, you could be 16 and all of a sudden 2 and then you're garbage. It's like, come on, man, stop it.
Yeah,
Stop
and that you're right. And this barely just started, man, like maybe 10 years ago where if you're 24-0 and you get an L on your record, they put your ass to the back of the line. I'm not talking about like in the back of like in a couple back. I mean, you're like almost forgotten. And it's really sad because back in the day, nobody cared. UFC, nobody cares. Like Yair Rodriguez got like 9 losses. That dude he comes out of the crowd with his Mexican flag and people go absolutely bonkers for that kid. And it's just a different beast, man. I wish we could go back to that because I don't mind seeing my favorite fighter. Like Manny Pacquiao, one of my favorite fighters, he has, you know, almost 10 losses. Shane Mosley, 9 losses, 10 losses with Avanesian, the last fight he ever fought. But I love him. And it's unfortunate, but it is the way it is now. So
Well, guys, I'm getting ready to check out. I'm going to still be plugged in. But a great show. Appreciate you guys. Love what you do. And I'll see you guys soon. Merry Christmas.
Merry
I see you out there. What you're doing? That's why you want to get off. I see you.
Yeah, and what I had to just do was what we gonna call a Rick Ross.
to just dip out and leave. Oh, I gotta take this. Irish goodbye.
All right, guys.
All
right, talk to you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
I do have a 1B. I have a 1B though, guys. Before I forget.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Real quick.
This goes to my people in my industry, and I'm gonna put them on blast right now. Take the damn time to learn the last names. Take the time to learn the accent of the last name. Take some time to walk down to the dressing room, knock on the door, or catch them at the weigh-in. What's your last name and how do you say it? Because when I go up there, I'm going to embarrass myself, and it's been happening over and over and over again. Please take the time, young children, old children, middle children, and please just get the last names correctly. That's all I ask for 2022. Okay? Okay.
Now in this corner, Mr. Nguyen.
This one's for the children. This one's for the children.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know, Donito Donaire is not Donaire, and the only one that says it correctly is Lupe Contreras. And poor Lupe has been making a resurrection because he got kicked in, he got booted from where he was at, and he actually came out on top though because he's doing a lot more things now than just top rank. But Donaire is the real way you say the name, and he's the only one that says it right because everybody's scared to butcher it. Don't be scared. Go out and try to be great. Donaire is his real name. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, look at that. I just learned something.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What's
so
yours, Jeremy?
I got two. I'm gonna piggyback off of Ralph here for a minute. I get boxing promoters and I get MMA promoters. In fact, I used to, promote just a little bit, not on any kind of scale like Dana White and Company, but just a small scale. But I understand cost cutting, and I understand having to watch every single dollar that you put out there because making money is ultimately the name of the game. But when you cut corners on production, when you cut corners like we saw for so long with DAZN before they crapped out with the pandemic, they're awful production. And it comes down to even the cats in the ring, like you were saying, Ralph, that say the names and get the crowd fired up, your ring announcers and stuff. That's one of my biggest gripes. You have a quality guy, and yes, you're on our show, and yes, you are our friend, but it's meaningful. You have a quality guy in a guy like Ramblin' Ralph who has all this experience, and instead of bringing him in, you don't, and you're not even expensive, but instead of bringing you in, they'll go with Jack down the street because he's down the street and he's willing to work for $9 and he's the promoter's friend and everything. Mm-hmm. But yet he gets in the ring and he butchers fighters' names and he butchers, their hometowns and stuff if it's not Middle America, USA. Look, I get doing your friend a favor, but these young fighters, a lot of them are never going to be Mayweather, okay? Mm-hmm. This is as far as they're going. They might fight 15, 20 times, and they might have that really lopsided losing record, but you should make them feel like $1 million, like the biggest draw in the world every single time they step between the ropes. Why? Why is that important? Because every single time the cage door closes and they step between the ropes, whatever sport they're in, they are literally putting their lives on the line for entertainment, to battle it out in there with another single person, one-on-one and everything. So is it too much to ask for you to spend a little bit of money on a little bit of class and have a guy like Ramblin' Ralph or, the few other guys in the industry that really do it well, and them,
Correct.
And in fact, we have them on the shows and stuff, but do that. Do those little things. Make them feel like superstars because, the last thing you want to hear is your hometown name butchered because the promoter didn't want to spend an extra $50 and fly a guy out, to a fight or he owed his buddy's cousin's guy who used to cut his lawn, a thing out there, because there's some people in there. We see them on big name shows and they're fucking terrible. They're terrible and they're fake and they're bad people. Yeah. You got a quality guy right here, right above me. How hard is it to find your phone number to contact you, Ralph?
Damn, Jeremy, I don't know. I really, man,
Come
this
on,
is
bro.
you made my Christmas, man. Wow,
Come
man, you
on, man.
speaking the truth. That's
My
good, Jeremy. And
my
I
second
know. Listen,
question.
I know you're not doing it just because of me.
No,
I know that because you're a stand-up guy. It's really frustrating, man. Like it's just like
I know it
and I
is.
try. Listen, I try not to be ahead because I'm not. Because listen, we've all done some awesome shit, in our careers. Like we've done really good stuff, man. Cece's making her name in the UFC. Like she's a head female reporter there. Her red dress, she already knows. She's making cameos on Fight Hub boxing videos. Because now she's making her name in the boxing industry because now it's back. Jeremy, you doing all this stuff with your podcast and Raiders and all this stuff going on, man. It's legit. But at the same time, we don't go over there acting like fools, and we respect everybody. And when we get disrespected, class prevails above everything. We don't go over there and make dummies out of ourselves. We don't go over there and complain and gripe and bitch. And it's really crazy because that's production wise. When I couldn't even really watch these shows in the beginning because it was so bad. I mean, they wouldn't cut the mic off. You could hear the broadcaster speaking. I mean, it was a joke. Even the first, again, I'm not bashing on the Triller show, but their production had huge problems in the beginning, right? Like they didn't know what was going on. So I got to hand it to you, man. That was pretty good. Made me shed a tear here pretty. So I appreciate that.
There you go, man. There you go.
That's good. Thank you.
But
Merry Christmas.
but I mean it. I mean it, and it's not just you, but it is pointedly, you included for this because it's just so disheartening when you get fans actually excited, and it's hard to get boxing and MMA fans excited about a show, but when they're actually excited and they tune in, and then you got some third leg production, some third rate production of because they were cutting corners,
I
and it's
announce
just
I announce every kid, whether they're 2-0 or 2-26, like they're fighting for a title. Because
yeah,
you're absolutely right. Because they may never fight again. They may never even walk out of that ring again. And
yeah.
at least their family, their son, their brother, their mother could go back and play that over and over again and be like, look, that's my mijo right there. That's
Yeah.
my son right there. And even those guys that are 2-22 that get called in, luckily they get to be on a show box or whatever, and we've had plenty of fighters circle through our show box in the last 5 years that we never saw again, ever again, like not even fighting a local card. So what do they have to show their grandkids? That one clip, and I'm gonna sit there and not even care about how pronouncing his name? Nah, bullshit. That's just not the way I roll.
At the end of the day, Ralph, it comes down to respect. Okay, it's not John Smith from Middle America, USA. It's the kids that are from Latin America, the kids that are from outside of America, or maybe they moved here with nothing but a dream and a couple of things of clothing, and now they're fighting literally for their lives to make some money and do the things. Show them some respect. Like you said, learn their names, learn their stories, get to know them a little bit, because who knows how, a lot of them, hopefully will end up being champions, but most of them don't.
That's right.
Most of them don't. So just show them that respect to get the pronunciation of their name. It's like when you introduce yourself to somebody 4 or 5 times and they still go, "What's your name again?" That's a lack of respect.
Exactly.
Right, you don't care enough about me. You don't respect me enough to memorize my name, to know my name by this point. I mean, come on, man. That's borderline bullshit.
Bullshit.
Right. So my second one is
bullshit.
That's number one bullshit. My second one is going to go to Aljamain Sterling and his acting career in March, early 2021, where he caught a decidedly illegal knee from Peter Yan, champion Peter Yan, but he played it up with the biggest acting role since Will Smith came to town in Wild Wild West. And he won an Oscar and he won a belt, and then he started he told everyone, I didn't want to win the belt this way. I didn't want to win the belt this way for 24 hours. And then he was on Instagram acting like he had won the belt by knocking Peter Yan out. To me, it was Clown City, USA. And it was just the biggest, like, come on, man. Like, yeah, that's a technicality. And yeah, you got to win the belt the way you win the belt, but don't act like you did something like that. You didn't take that belt from Peter Yan. You took a way out. And then they've been trying to make that fight again ever since, but
they sure have. Huh?
I actually
Jermaine, come on,
considered
man.
that one. But what's more egregious to me is he's in a Modelo commercial as the champion. Like, come on, man. You ain't
Come
the
on, man.
champion. You ain't the champion.
You got to air it now because if Peter gets his hands back on him again, he ain't going to be champ.
No, it's gonna be over quick, fast, in a hurry. If he gets back, he's got that spinal injury or whatever it is, and
So that always just reminds me. Every time I hear spinal, I remember that Mike Tyson, the Mike Tyson interview in the ring. It's like, what happened? I broke my back. You broke your back. Spinal.
Spinal. Speaking of spinal, we got to stop right here, and before we move on, and give a shout out to my boy David Diamante, who almost passed away with this horrible motorcycle accident he got into on Monday. And I barely found out about it this morning because they called and told me, because he is, like I said, I don't hate on anybody. I'm friends with everybody. I give everybody the same amount of respect that I want. And he's one of the dudes that give it back to me, man. I can't even hate on this dude. Like people have been hating on this cat because he's so different for years, but he's cool as shit, man. The dude is just a cool cat. And I just want to wish him speedy recovery. Fractured his spleen, I think, in 3 places. Broken knee, ribs broken, all kinds of shit. So I'm glad he's alive. I'm glad he's able to send a message out, and we hope to see you back in that ring soon, man.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, spinal. Well, as Festivus comes to a close here, for us, we want to do one more go around here with my friends. Any last grievances to air before we call it a year and leave it behind us, as I get to the bottom of my whiskey and my ability to stand any more of 2021.
I had some Japanese whiskey the other night, and that shit was like unleaded. Yakaturi. That shit was like, oh my God. I don't even know how you guys drink that shit. You know what I'm talking about? Yakitori or whatever. Man, dude. I can normally drink hard liquor because I'm a tequila drinker now.
It's rice. It's rice whiskey, man.
Holy shit, dude. That shit was unbelievable. It smelled like old garbage truck juice. And I couldn't even.
You can degrease an engine with it too. Absolutely. So CC, I'll start with you.
I have lemon with mint and Manuka honey.
See, hold on.
And I got my own cup.
Say I'm gonna mute CC for a minute here because I ain't. That.
Do like that show on ESPN where you say some bullshit and you get muted. That's what we need to start doing.
See, I told you that's how it is with that vegan stuff. See, she just slips it in there every once in a while. See, I got me some honey and some lemon drops, and it's really good. And it's good. It's better than Dr. Pepper and things of that nature.
You sure you haven't tried that tofu Mountain Dew drop?
Manuka honey, and it's like $20 an ounce for that stuff, but it's supposed to be.
Yeah, well, that's all you.
My big grievance, and I got one in my back pocket, but here's the main one. We still ain't got Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. And I know that it's a good fight for Ugas, and I think he's a live dog in that fight against Errol Spence. But it is number one bullshit that Terrence Crawford had to fight his friend, Sean Porter, instead of the fight that everybody wants in Errol Spence. It is nonsense. I don't give a shit about whose side of the street it is. If Errol Spence beats Ugas and Terrence name don't come out his mouth, then we know what the fuck we talking about.
Listen, do you really honestly think Terrence Crawford wants to fucking fight Errol Spence? Yes. Do you really think so?
Yes.
Because as soon as that Top Rank contract was over, all you had to do was call Al Heyman on the phone and be like, "Daddy, I'm coming home, Dad. I'm coming home, Dad."
That's bullshit. You shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to be like, "I'm gonna lick your boots so you let me fight your fighter." I mean,
dude, Terrence Crawford don't want to fight Errol Spence because Terrence Crawford get dog walked.
No, he's not.
You heard it here first.
Crawford's going to win that fight, but I believe that Spence is going to go up to 154 after this, which is also going to be, some more bullshit. My other light grievance is members of the MMA media. When it is 11 o'clock at night and you asking a question that don't have shit to do with your story, stop it. Stop it. Like, it ain't cute just to grab a microphone, just to show somebody that you was there, or to hear your voice on the VO. Stop asking guys shit of the fighter. I hate people.
Hey, Champa, what kind of ramen noodles do you eat at night?
And it'd be cold as hell in that tent, by the way, at T-Mobile. Cold as hell in there, blowing all that dirt and stuff in your face. Man, that should be having me heated. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Ralph, what you got, man?
I'm gonna piggyback on that one for just a little bit. There is these internet media guys that hog up interviews, and if you're any kind of classy reporter and you know what the fuck you're doing, 3 questions, 3 quick answers, you're out of there. They make for wonderful interviews. You know why? Because after 4 minutes, people don't fucking watch your shit no more and they turn it off. You understand? After 4 minutes and 30 seconds, they don't want to hear no more bullshit. Don't be that person that sits there for 20 minutes and hogs up the time in the scrum. Cece, I got your back on that. That's some bullshit. Secondly, my damn national media put a jinx on the fucking Arizona Cardinals because they didn't give them no love. We were 7-0. Nobody gave them a shot. Everybody kept dogging them out. And I'll guarantee you right now, on the spot here, I will buy both of you guys steak dinners, well, tofu for you, tofu salad, and a steak for my boy Jeremy at Herbs and Rye if the Cardinals don't win the NFC West, because we're going to win the NFC West. The Rams suck, even though they beat us. The Seahawks suck, and the 49ers suck. My third thing, and last, is promoters, man. Y'all need to call me, man. Stop fucking around. Period. Okay, that's it. That's it.
Good way.
That's
to end
it.
All right, my last two. One to the fans. One to also because we all work in media, so I guess we all got a media one. But one to the fans. First off, fans, stop being stupid. Okay. We're watching the Muhammad Stephen Thompson fight on the UFC and the co-main event the other night, and Bilal Muhammad, he got some USA chants chanted at him because his last name is Muhammad.
He's from
Bilal
Chicago.
Muhammad was born in Chicago, you idiots. Stop chanting USA, USA for the white guy against the brown guy. Figure out where the fighters are from. Stop looking like morons.
That had to be UFC, right? That was UFC.
That was UFC.
Of
You
course.
even got called out by the commentators because there was one jackass in there screaming something about ragheads and things like that at a guy who was born in Chicago.
Wow.
You're a moron, dude. You're a moron. And there's more fans like that out there. You know, if you would take the time to enjoy fights and enjoy fighters, you would stop screaming things like boring and booing anytime the guys weren't throwing haymakers at each other. But most importantly, it's just stop being ignorant. All right.
Amen.
A lot of these, find out what country these guys are from before you start doing any stupid shit like that. My second point is for media at a whole, and for companies at a whole. Start crediting reporters when you take something that is said, even if it's in a scrum, and writing up reports about it. Don't just say, oh, it was asked of so-and-so, and now we're going to write an 800-word story on it. Credit the fucking reporter, because half the time, let me tell you something, it's this lady right here asking the questions, and you guys, for some reason, know her enough to be like, oh, yeah, I really respect her, but you don't respect her enough to put her name next to a question that was asked of
Amen.
her. All right? Okay, again, it goes back to common respect in our business. If we started using your material on our show, you would send your stupid lawyers and your stupid cease and desist, and you'd be like, oh, well, that's Bush League. I shouldn't do that shit. Well, you know what? Stop doing it to us. Whenever we have the champion after champion after champion that we have on our show, and all of a sudden you take our talks with our champions and then you use them in your stories, but you don't credit us, you're Bush League. And
have they done that shit? Oh, my God.
I don't care if you work for MMA Junkie, USA Today. I don't care if you work for MMA Fighting. I don't care if you're Ariel Helwani's personal lackey. You credit where the stuff comes from, okay? We do it. We take our time to do it. You do it as well. So that's my
and no, but in 2022, you have to get called out. That's all. Get called out from now on. That's what I'm saying. We're too nice. We're too nice, man. We're too nice, and that's got to change. And another thing is too nice about that. I do have to say something before we leave. My people out there that are bitching about these masks at these fights. If you would go fucking get the goddamn thing right there, you wouldn't have to be worrying so much about these damn masks. Don't be the gut person who's sitting next to me in the media thing complaining that he has to wear the mask. And I'd be like, hey, so did you get the booster yet? And the dude said, oh, I haven't even got my first shot yet. But you're sitting here complaining next to me, aren't you? Go get the shot, homeboy. So you don't have to be wearing that mask anymore. You know what I mean? Stop, because it's getting bad again, especially in Vegas, man. In Vegas, it's starting to get crazy again.
Stop being a masshole.
Masshole.
So there you go, folks. Festivus for the rest of us. You got to get that bad energy out before the start of a new year, so we can be happy, wonderful people again.
Yeah.
What's your goal? What's your goal? What's your goals, guys? Before you leave, what's your goals? Don't end it on that. What's your goal? 2022. What do we got?
Yeah, got a new show that's been kicking around for a little bit. Actually, gonna go into production and get it out there. That is number one goal for 20.
Absolutely, break it out on your own. That's fantastic. Okay, Jeremy, you're
gotta build a door.
That's right.
Yep. Gonna try out some new things, man. You know, I hope you with COVID, it might put a little dent in the travel plans, but at least at first, but we'll get back into it and everything. And I'm going to try pivot to some new arenas as far as travel and doing some shows and kind of making my mark in there and sending some queries and things like that and sending some lines over to places like Nat Geo and things of that nature, hoping to get picked up and to take the next step in that evolution of being a writer and everything. So fingers crossed, maybe you'll see me in some nice publications that aren't sports related in 2022.
Awesome.
I want everybody to be healthy too. You know, it's been a really crappy year health wise for me. Long story, but
cough drops.
Getting back and doing what I can to get back on 2 feet.
Yeah, I also again we're on the same path. I made a commitment to myself to I'm going to drop at least 50 pounds this year, and I'm going to actually get. I don't drink too much, but I think that what I drink is pretty bad because it's a lot of sugary. I'm not a beer drinker, but I'm a hard liquor drinker, and I am a margarita drinker, and the shit like that. That just it's not really good for you in general. And it's got to be a whole mindset, a whole lifestyle change because. You know, there's certain things out there in the sport that we complain about, but are they really going to listen to us at this moment in time? No, right? Because everybody has their own agenda. They'll step on your neck just to get one word out right in front of your face. And Jeremy's right. There is no class right now. There is no respect. You know, I got guys like Steven Espinosa and the people that are up there and in Vegas that respect, but then your local people who you really need to get that bridge across, they just ain't having it. So we're just gonna scale back. We're gonna get ourselves right. Well, get myself right, and where I think I need to be, getting better, way better fitness. And I think it'll just come around full circle, man. Leave it up to where it needs to go, and it'll all fall where it needs to fall. But I think it'll be good. It'll be good for all of us. We have good plans, man.
Super friends unite.
There you go, man. All right. Well, that's Festivus for 2021. Good show, guys. Lots of fun. Thank you for everyone that tuned in and tried to tune in. MP and we had Mo from Girl Chat Sports briefly in the back end, and I think her phone crapped out on her.
She's also making gumbo, so
she's also making. She might have dropped the phone in the gumbo. So
she has some like spicy andouille that was messing with her.
So go check out Mo and Mel there on the Girl Chat Sports. They have a great show. And for Ramblin' Ralph and for Cassandra Cousineau, I'm Jeremy Long, and we'll see you guys in 2022 with a fresh new batch of interviews and coming to you live. Hopefully, we'll be back in arenas. Hopefully, it doesn't slow anything down, and we'll be back live doing our thing and getting after it the only way that we can, because there's levels to this shit. Okay, so we'll see you guys next time and next year.
Merry New Year.